behind you, Poe.
Hey, and welcome to another Battlefront update video, most likely the Star Wars Battlefront 2 information overload video you were looking for. Why am I saying this? Easy, because if you think in the past we had a ton of leaks, that's nothing compared to what we have now. Basically, the last few days for Battlefront 2 news has been crazy. Little teases for us on what we can expect to see in the game. Well, now we pretty much have everything and more. Actually, scratch that, we have 95% of what will reportedly be in the game launch. Which is cool, but what about that other 5%? No worries, I'll get to explain that later in the video, as I'm sure you just want me to get into the good stuff, right? A quick disclaimer before we get there, but if you're new here, we make Star Wars related videos on gaming, lore, news, and speculation multiple times a week. So be sure to subscribe and enable notifications to stay up to date on everything Star Wars related. Now, with that out of the way, we've had a recent massive leak of information regarding Battlefront 2. Basically, the infamous DICE insider from Reddit, some_info, who's been supplying people with insider leaks, has been leaked himself. What do I mean by that? Well, he's actually been quite selective on what he chose to leak. During that time, people who were close to him and obtained even more information have all now chosen to actually leak everything out in one massive leak drop of information. Information that not even some_info himself wanted to get out to the public. So he's definitely not happy about this at all. But we on the other hand can enjoy all of this awesome info. First off, heroes. So the expected heroes we should be getting is apparently now 8 per side, so no big secrets here. Han, Luke, Leia, Chewbacca, Lando, Finn, Rey, and Yoda for the light side, while the dark side gets Vader, Palpatine, Boba Fett, Bossk, Kylo Ren, Phasma, Darth Maul, and Iden Versio. So the interesting thing to note here is that Iden Versio will be apparently a usable hero in online multiplayer, which completely overrides past rumors that she would only show up in the single player portion. Also, Finn and Phasma are DLC characters, so by the look of things, we'll only actually get 14 heroes at launch. Not bad, but not great either. This here is pretty much your answer for why we'll only be getting most likely cross-era heroes to basically make up for the lack of heroes for the prequel and sequel eras. Of course, expect the remaining DLC season packs to include more heroes. A little less for hero vehicles, as we'll see both new and old joining the roster this year. Light side will have the Millennium Falcon piloted by Han Solo for the Rebels, Luke Skywalker's Red 5, Poe Dameron's Black 1, the Millennium Falcon piloted by Rey for the Resistance, and Yoda's Jedi Starfighter. On the flip side, the dark side will have the Slave 1 piloted by Boba Fett, Vader's TIE Advance, Kylo Ren's TIE Silencer, Darth Maul's Scimitar, and the Slave 1 piloted by Jango Fett. So what can we take from this list? Well, as it stands now, Poe Dameron and Jango Fett will be in the game, but only exclusively as hero vehicle characters. Which is kind of a bummer, but again, maybe we'll get to see them as ground heroes later on in the DLC down the line. Ground battles have a decent list available for us to play on, with 13 different locations in Hoth, Yavin 4, Mos Eisley, Bespin, the Death Star, Endor, Takodana, Jakku, Crate, Starkiller Base, Kamino, Naboo, and Kashyyyk. Of course, most of this we already expected before according to past leaks or gameplay, but like I already mentioned, expect more ground maps with future DLC. Space battle maps will include a little less variation, as we'll only have 5 space maps in Fondor, the Death Star 2 debris, First Order Resurgent Battlecruiser, Dakar, and Ryloth. Meanwhile, we'll only get 2 atmosphere air battles on Starkiller Base and Kamino. Not the greatest news honestly for space combat fans, but if the mode sees popularity, then DICE should eventually add more later on. The light side air vehicles look great and is a good selection in T-65 X-Wings, A-Wings, Y-Wings, Snowspeeders, U-Wings, T-70 X-Wings, ARC-170s, Republic Y-Wings, V-Wings, Naboo N-1 Starfighters, LAAT Republic gunships, and the Wookiee Camerans. Unfortunately, the U-Wing, LAAT, and Cameron will be on rail vehicles only, so while players will be able to board them, they won't have access to actually control them. As for the light side ground vehicles, we'll get to see the X-34 Landspeeder, Rebel AT-RT, 74Z speeder bikes, Tauntauns, and the Republic AT-RTs. This is great as we'll finally be able to get to see some actual Rebel ground vehicles in the game this time around. Especially great for the Rebels who will get the AT-RT. No Resistance vehicles, mind you, but I'll explain why later on in the video. Now for the dark side air vehicles, there are no surprises here, as we've seen majority of these from the existing game footage. So TIE Fighter, TIE Interceptor, TIE Bomber, First Order TIE Fighter, Vulture Droid, Tri-Fighter, and the Hyena Bomber. The ground vehicles include the Imperial AT-ST, AT-AT, First Order Landspeeder, AAT, and the Multi-Troop Transporter, MMT. Just like with the light side, the dark side will also have on-rail vehicles only, like the AAT and the MMT. Huge surprise, right? Now on to the cool stuff, the special units. Light side special units include the Rebel Jump Trooper, Resistant Jump Trooper, Clone Jump Trooper, ARC Troopers, and Wookiee Warriors. While dark side special units are Death Troopers, Imperial Super Commandos, First Order Jump Troopers, First Order Flame Troopers, B-2 Super Battle Droids, and B-2 Rocket Droids. Okay, so the big things to take out from this is that we have now ARC Troopers as special units for the clones. This is amazing news for ARC Trooper fans who are hoping to see these guys in the game, as they're a lethal unit in the Clone Wars animated series, and it's brilliant that we'll get to see these guys finally in the game. Another cool one to note is the addition of Imperial Super Commandos, who are basically Mandalorians who fight for the Empire. They'll be the Imperial equivalent of a Jump Trooper, but well, just cooler than the standard Stormtrooper with a jetpack. Really great to see Star Wars Rebels content in Battlefront 2. Finally, the 5 multiplayer game modes available to us will be the Battlefront 1 staple, Heroes vs Villains, the new Galactic Assault mode, Strike, Starfighter Assault, and Team Deathmatch and Blast mode. Strike, which is a completely new game mode this year, will be on the smaller side, as it's said to be a 12v12 with a modification of Cargo mode from Battlefront 1 that will include special units. It's also important to note, for anyone not happy with this list, is that the leakers responsible for the list are claiming that this info is outdated, so we may actually get a little bit more than this. So most definitely the hero list here isn't 100% complete, but at the same time, from what we've seen, it's only a guessing game whether DICE will actually add more heroes for launch or not. But considering we still see some units missing for some factions, particularly for the Resistance, it's safe to say this stuff is still currently being worked on and will be at the game at launch. Just at the time of the making of this list, those assets and such weren't yet developed. Now, you probably had enough of plain leaked information being thrown at you and you want some actual visual leaks as well. No problem, as we got you covered. First up is a leak from what seems to be from an early version of the game, with what can be seen to be an extremely early copy of General Grievous. This is a hero that DICE really wanted to add to the game, but have been having difficulty in creating him to be just right, which may be the reason as to why they're currently holding back on him. Here is also a leaked image of Captain Phasma, which clearly is an early copy of the hero. It's clear from this image that she's still being worked on, and that's fine as she is a DLC character, so we won't be seeing her at launch anyway. While I released a video the other day of Rey's The Last Jedi leaked outfit in the game, we now also have proof that Rey's Resistance outfit from The Force Awakens will also be in the game, which strongly suggests that we may be able to change hero outfits at will, which is always a good thing, well, depending on the map of course. Next is a shot of some single-player action controlling Luke Skywalker on the planet Pilio, which will be featured in the single-player campaign. In the back we can also see some stormtroopers approaching with Luke prepping for battle. This is part of a mission where Luke gets shot down and stranded on Pilio, with him having to fight off several waves of stormtroopers and other Imperial enemies. Towards the end, Luke will come in contact with Inferno Squad. This is certainly going to be one of those levels mentioned by the developers at EA Play, where we'll get to have some short missions playing as both either Luke Skywalker and Kylo Ren during the campaign. Finally, we have a leaked shot of the customization menu from the game. It's rather unclear whether this was taken from the early version of the game, and the star card visual assets for everything had not been completed yet, or perhaps we may need to unlock the cards first before we can use them. Personally, I just think the assets weren't yet done at the time, as we can clearly see the Sith Infiltrator visual asset being used numerous times for other vehicles. And that's it for everything. I really hope you enjoyed this, and if it made you more excited for the game or not. As always, keep in mind that this stuff, while it's leaked information, it's not official until EA and DICE say it is, with the leakers themselves saying that some stuff may be outdated. However, keep in mind that this information was also posted on the EA official Battlefront 2 forums, and then quickly deleted, so take that however way you will. But with that all said, I want to hear from you. Are you excited to see some of these brand new units like the ARC Troopers and Imperial Super Commandos? And what kind of other units and vehicles you'd still want DICE to add to the game? Oh, and tell me what your theory is concerning the customization menu, as I'm really curious about that one. Tell me that and everything else in the comments down below. I'll see you guys tomorrow with my weekly Sunday stream, and keep an eye out on Monday for a very cool new episode of Star Wars Declassified. But that'll do it for today. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, share, and subscribe to the channel to not only support it, but keep up with Star Wars news, gaming, and canon lore released every week. And consider following me on Twitter and Facebook to never miss out on the latest Star Wars related content. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.